What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the crossover presented by Prime Sports World here on the Huddle Sports Network. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here at Prime Sports World at Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. In case you miss it, you can catch us on all streaming platforms where podcasts can be heard. TJ, what's going on, my man?
Oh,
Another day, another dollar.
another day, another dollar. Hey man, you ever sat
Yes,
down and
sir.
watched hockey?
Yeah, I've gone to a few hockey games with my dad.
Ain't it
Yeah.
like, bro? Ain't it like mad entertaining?
Mad entertaining. Yeah, I mean it's just super fast paced. The hits are crazier
What's that?
live
Oh hell yeah! So are the
than
fights.
in person. Yeah. Oh, the fights. Yeah. I mean, I think out of all the hockey games, I've been to a lot of hockey games too. By the way, Blackhawks games in particular. I think I've only seen two live
Of
hockey
course,
fights. Yeah.
yeah, I've
I've
been to
probably
one
been to at
game.
least
I've been
15. I probably been to at least 15, 20 games.
I've been to one game, and that game had two fights at the same time. I was like, hey, this is lit. But anyway, I just wanted to give a quick, thoughts and prayers out to the Ball family. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I was actually going to talk about that for a little bit.
no,
But I'm
if
glad you
that's
brought
yes,
it up.
then come on,
No,
let's
no, no. I wasn't. I wasn't. It wasn't a topic, but I'm glad you
come
brought
on.
it up. We could touch on it a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's LeVar Ball, the patriarch of the Ball family, had to have his right foot amputated due to they just had a health issue. They ain't say what it was, or they ain't really go into depth like that. But all things considered, with what that family has been through over the past handful of years, like the mom having that massive stroke while Lonzo was in
mhm,
college, and we saw how that affected him in that game
absolutely.
against Kentucky, because I found out like earlier this year in a snippet from LeVar Ball being interviewed that Lonzo wasn't gonna play in that
Mm,
tournament game against Kentucky. He was literally all like he was ready to mail it in and go home and be with the family, but his dad convinced him to stay there and ride it out. Then you got his health issues and what's going on with him. LaMelo seeming can't stay healthy, and now the big baller himself lost his foot. But hey, the picture that's going viral is him in that wheelchair, and he's just smiling that $1 million smile like he always is. And knowing LeVar Ball, he gonna bounce back from that.
it's so it. You know what's crazy is that when I got that news, I saw it across my Twitter feed. I thought it was like a prank,
I did
like the
too.
Luka, like you thought, like the Luka Doncic trade. I had the same sentiments. Like this can't be real because LeVar
Yeah,
Ball is this bigger than life
life.
personality.
Yeah, bro.
You would never thought like he's a big dude too. You know, he played in the NFL. He played in like NFL Europe. I played had a little stint with the Panthers as well. But yeah, Levar is one of those guys that he just you would never think that something like that would happen, but your health is your wealth. Anything could happen like that. We don't know what happened. So big prayers up to the Ball family. But I mean, they've some success. I mean, Lamelo's been playing well, even though he's been a little on and off the court. He's had those little injuries. I'm hoping he can get past those, like how Steph got past the ankle injuries early in his career.
Yeah,
And then
he might have to get
Lonzo,
up with stuff. He might have to get up with
Lonzo's
stuff.
looking Lonzo's looking healthy. Lonzo's
Yeah,
looking good. He's back in that starting lineup playing. I like to see that. And then you got Jello Ball with his music
with his
career
music career.
kind of popping them. And look, let me tell you y'all something, man. As much flack as LeVar Ball um, got for being boisterous and saying that all my sons are going to be famous and successful. Well, one,
Hmm.
he was right. Two, he is what you want in every single father. Like, and I don't want to say just black father because I don't want to put you in a box, right, TJ? I don't want to just say this is how all black fathers should be. I feel like this is how all fathers should be. Every father should be have their sons back and should have the utmost supreme confidence that their sons are going to be great and
Yeah,
have
it was crazy because like
peak.
he caught hell for saying my
He's a great
son,
dad.
like he called hell for saying my son better than Steph Curry, and everybody's like, what? It's like, you idiots. What else is he supposed to, like? That's his son.
That's his son.
That's
Yeah,
his
I
son.
would say
Like, wait, what? Like, what is y'all talking about? So like, that lets me know, like, hey, if y'all ever had kids, like, hey, don't, y'all can't, y'all ain't gonna ride for y'all kids like y'all say y'all is.
no, that's legit. And he is what he is like what the prototypical how your American father should in terms of like having like that supreme confidence, being a family man. I mean, you don't hear nothing about LeVar Ball, going cheating on his wife or nothing.
Cheating
He's
on
a
his wife.
faithful man. He's a family man. He's he might his methods might be a little bit scrutinized, but he is probably one of the best fathers that I have seen in the media. And I know it's the media, but like I mean, he pushed his sons to be great. And man, all I do is wish LeVar Ball
None
the
but the
utmost,
best.
nothing but the best, my man, nothing but the best. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about off the press here at Prime Sports World, and just in lieu of the All-Star game that just passed, we had the makeup game yesterday, but we're back on track in the second half of the season. The second half of the season officially has started off tonight. But let's recap the All-Star weekend, TJ. As I mean, it was another it might have been better than years past, but it was still a little bit lackluster in terms of what could have been maybe, or are privy to expect, or what we have expected in the past. Tyler Hero did win the 3 point contest. Everybody thought Dame was a runaway winner, and Tyler Hero won that 3 point contest. The Teen Cavs, I'm just gonna put it in a nutshell. Teen Cavs won the Steals challenge, although that whole Victor Wembanyama CP3 thing was a little weird. It was a little like debacle,
Trash.
kind of, yeah,
Trash.
trash. That was trash. And then obviously the big one, right? You got Mac McGlung winning a three-peat on the slam dunk contest. Even though I did like a couple of the dunks that Stephon Castle threw
He did,
down.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
the one that the coach shot through the net. He caught it out the net and went between the legs. I'm like, yeah, that was a cold final. Like, I'm glad that he saved that for his final dunk because that was his best dunk. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, like to see what Matt McClung did for now 3 years in a row. Yeah, we gonna get into it. We gonna just keep going. We gonna get
Yeah, we gonna talk about it, man. I definitely have a little something to at the end of the show for that one, and then obviously the Shaq OGs defeated Team Chuck to win the All Star title, the All Star game. Did you like the way? Let me ask you
no,
something. Did you like the new format? Nope. Okay.
no.
Did you think it was a little bit more competitive than?
I thought it was more competitive in the sense of, like, real talk. Only one of them was competitive, and it was like the young dudes versus the OGs.
Right.
Because it's like,
They didn't want to lose to the young
right,
dudes.
you never want to lose to the young dudes. Like, it's,
I
but
do agree with Draymond Green though, TJ.
yeah, that's
Them,
yeah,
them, th- yeah, they shouldn't have graced the floor with the All Star team at
no,
all.
because like they have their own game. Like, what's supposed to be their own game. Like the rookies versus sophomores is its own thing. Like, it's there for a reason.
Hmm.
It's one of those notions of, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That was one of the notions that wasn't broken. Like, get the rookies,
Yeah.
get the second year guys, put the rookies on one team, put the second year dudes on the other team, and just let them play for 48 minutes. Like, it's that part was not hard. That part didn't need fixing. The All Star game itself, it only became a problem in like the last, I say, 3 or 4 years. Last year in particular, when you had the final score was 211 to 186, and it's just like, again, what do we do? It's almost like the Pro Bowl, because like both used to be a badge of honor.
Hmm.
Like to make it through the whole season, or in this case, 41 games or however many games up until the All Star break, and then it used to be a badge of honor. Like now it's just, oh, okay, like I'm an All Star again. Whoop de doo. You feel me? Like it's
I every year we come, especially recently, we come to this discussion where it's like, what can we do
what
to
can we do?
improve All Star Weekend? What can we do to actually make a Saturday a little bit better? Saturday is usually what people like
Tune in
look
for.
forward to. Yeah, the Sunday has become the All Star game used to be what we wanted, what we all tuned in for. At like it was Saturday and Sunday used to be just Saturday's momentum took into Sunday, but it's really now it's just Saturday and Sunday's just like it's a letdown. But what we always talk about what to improve.
Cause like, bro,
And
like,
so
you know what
yeah,
it is though, bro. Like, so I think real talk 2020 was the I think the start of it, because you had like obviously like that's the
people
COVID
start
year.
getting all them super maxes.
No, like that's the COVID year, and it
Yeah,
was
that's
a
true.
it was a very rough spot because you had you had the shutdown, right? And then October hits, and then you had like 20 some days in between the end of that season and the start of the new season. And then you fast forward to the All-Star break, and again, well, we all know who the face of the league is. We all know whose word holds more merit than anybody's, and it's LeBron. And it's very evident that LeBron at that All Star break in Indianapolis, the 2021, LeBron did not want to be there. LeBron played 5 minutes, maybe that whole first quarter, and LeBron didn't step foot back on the court again. Like he didn't play no more the rest of the game. Like he was like he dead ass sent the message of this is stupid. We shouldn't be here. Da 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 da. Woo woo. And like that's kind of like where the downfall started. Of we not finna like, if the leader of the league don't take this shit seriously, I'm not finna take it seriously.
And you know what's crazy is that I think that like when LeBron in his younger years, right? We all knew LeBron, in his younger years. You still had guys like Kobe, you still had guys like KG, you still had a lot of the older guys that were in that late '90s, early 2000s, still making All Star teams. And those guys, like, it's an honor to be in the All Star game, and it's an honor to, we're gonna put on a show defensively, we're gonna put on a show offensively. And I think now we just kind of got into that. Like you said, LeBron is he's not interested as he's gotten older. He doesn't really care for it anymore. He just wants to win, another title. He doesn't care about the All Star game, and a lot of young dudes don't care about the All Star game because you know what? I got picked for the All Star selection. That's great. Now it's just gonna add more money to
Add to
my
the
check,
resume, right? Add to the
add
resume.
to the resume. You know what I mean? It's like I just came
Incentive
here to
check
do my job.
because
You
it's
know, there's
like
no there's no incentivization outside of what's in their contract. You know,
because because like when people go back and they watch older All Star games, and you see that competitiveness, like you see that like you see it between the players. It's like, hey, I don't want you to have nothing over me. I don't want to let it sink in for one moment in your in your that you're better than me. Like Michael Jordan was 40 years old, serving motherfuckers because he's like, hey, I don't want y'all to have nothing on me. Like I know I'm on my way out, and this young dude on the Lakers think he the next me. He think he better than me. But hey, look here, young man, you ain't finna have nothing over me.
Mhm.
And I think that to fix the All Star game itself, one, just go back to East versus West, make it 12 roster spots. Um, I've always been a proponent of the players should have a say in who's the All Star because like they play. Now I understand like the game is quote unquote for the fans, but when the fans vote, they vote for dumb shit. You feel me? So it's like I don't want to leave it in the hands of the fans because when if the fans had the vote, Bol would be an all star. You get what I'm like? You get dumb shit like that, and like like that's the killer part. Like that's where fans lose they quote unquote um like they niche because you don't take the fan vote seriously. You just vote you vote for dumb shit.
I I think if you're Adam Silver, you don't want this thing to turn into the Pro Bowl, right? You
It's
don't want
already
this.
there. It's all
I
like it,
it's there, but it's there, but it's not there because they're at least still playing a game. You know what I mean? As it goes to the Pro Bowl, it's just the Pro Bowl games. But
well,
I
yeah,
got two propositions though, TJ.
they got rid of the Pro Bowl like the football game aspect in completely because players weren't hitting. Like it's
Yeah.
like you it's two hand like y'all playing two hand touch in a tackle game and like you can't do that. Like that's not what we do.
Yeah, that's why they turned it. They saw they got a flag game now. But I got two prepositions. I think one when it comes to the All Star game, we have to get the players excited in some sort of capacity, right? And I feel like there's two things that I think that will improve the All Star game, and I think that one of them will actually make it in some point in time
What's
to the
that?
All Star game. That's the one on one competition.
No.
The one I think that will happen on Saturdays. I think they would I think that will happen on Saturdays and that will be the biggest draw. That would be the biggest draw. Actually,
Here's my
I
okay. So
think they
here's
can
my
stretch
issue.
it.
Here's my
Friday,
issue with that.
Saturday, Sunday. They can actually do Friday like prelim first, like quarterfinal, semi
And
they could do like prelims, first round, quarterfinal, games at a one-on-one competition on Fridays,
yeah.
right? And then Saturday could
Well,
be the
have you
semifinals and the
have you watched the
finals.
unright? Have you watched the
Yes,
unright?
I have. Yes, I have. Yes, I
So like
have.
so like, I understand the concept like because like they literally just did that same thing and like this is the difference between the men and the women don't care like hey if I get cooked I get cooked it is what it is like the unrivaled had they little one-on-one tournament one of the best players in the league literally lost 12 nothing and it was on to the next
Who is
day.
that? Ariga Gumbawale?
I think she lost 12 nothing like somebody lost
Hey,
12.
But Nafisa Collier won, and Nafisa Collier, we both were in agreement last year. She should have been MVP. She probably could have won MVP
Probably could have won MVP
outside of Asia
outside of his.
Wilson.
So like here's the
Yeah,
thing with I think that if they were to ever announce a King of the Hill because that's the name of it that's what it's called King of the
that's what
Hill.
it's called. King of the Hill.
If
Yep.
they were to ever announce a King of the Hill style tournament for the All Star Weekend, uh, I think they would treat that exactly like they do the dunk contest.
No, no. See, this is here it goes. TJ.
Okay, what's okay?
Only All Star game participants can play in the one
So
on
like
one
no. Here's no
competition.
so
No
this
G
no
leaguers.
no.
Nobody else.
This what I'm getting at though, because of the perception of you gonna get like, but because of the perception of like you could potentially get your ass cooked. Like we gonna see what we see now in the dunk contest because like I think that's a big reason why the bigger names in the NBA don't do the dunk contest anymore. They don't want to get out there and embarrass themselves, right? So like, can you imagine if let's just say let's just say a I ain't gonna say like the bigger names because like they older now like and I wouldn't expect them to do it like let's just say like a Jason Tatum right Jason Tatum's like he been in the game for a while but he's still Jason Tatum not even 30 years old yet I don't think. Can you imagine if JT goes out there and as one of the better players in the league in a King of the Hill tournament goes out there and gets cooked by a player like Cam Reddish who don't barely see the flow.
See,
See
that's
what I'm
why it's got to
saying?
be All Star versus All Star. It can't be no because this guy's like we know it's guys like a Michael Beasley's out there, right?
That will cook your
Your best
favorite
player
player.
on one
Michael
on one.
Michael
Like
Beasley will
I
cook your
saw
favorite player.
I saw Cam Reddish one on one. I saw Cam Reddish one on one the other day in Lakers practice on Twitter,
So
and that boy is very hard to guard.
So like
So
okay, so to your point, so it's all right, so let's say they keep it to just the all stars, right? Is it a East versus West thing, or is it like all like is it you
yeah, yeah, it'll be the best. It'll be the best. It'll be East. The East, you got the West bracket, you got the East bracket, and then whoever East versus West plays in the championship.
okay, I like that. I see what
I think that'll get guys going.
what I would do is like again, it's like how many all stars do you do is it normally like so like not the, so it's 10 starters plus what five or so was it is it 15 so you got 30 players.
Yeah, I mean
um
you can make a quick little bracket of
I would I would
eight.
would
You know,
I would 100% just a put all the names in starters and reserves and just random pool like that. I mean, like you might get some
I
unfavorable. You might fuck around and get a matchup like a Bam Adebayo versus Jalen Brunson or some shit like that. But
see now that's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets tricky. I think we would have to weed it out and say, okay, we have a bigs competition and we have a smalls competition. So all
so like,
smalls would be
then the
shooting
question
guards, point guards, and then the rest will be bigs, will be forwards and centers.
for okay,
You know
and
what I
I
mean?
mean, and the reason why that's like more entertaining now because of how the game was played now, like it's this is the era of positionless basketball. It ain't like we having one on ones with like bigs like Shaq versus Yao Ming. Got that like them day. I think them days of the big men are are in the past, but I don't think be strictly because of the fear of potential embarrassment. I don't think the NBA will ever sign off, like the players union will ever, player association will ever sign off on some type of King of the Hill tournament. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
I would love to see it too. Okay, and then here for the All Star game. Okay, since this full court game has been a debacle the last 5 years, how
Hmm.
about we shorten it up? We do a 3-on-3 tournament, just the All Stars, and the top three vote getters, or the top two vote getters of the East and West can create their big three lineup and go
So
up against each other
so you kind of
in a
like what
in a
so
in
kind
a
of like
big
what they do
three.
what kind of like what they do on 2K, just like 3 on 3 full, not full court, but
Like half quarter
half
or
court. Yeah.
or 3 quarters court. I like that better because you know what, this game where I feel like if we can, okay, Giannis, say Giannis and who's the top vote getters in the East? It'd probably be what, Giannis and
All right, let's
uh
just
whoever's the, whoever was the two vote
just
getters in the
to
East, whoever was the two top vote getters in the West, they both get to create their big threes, right? So we're talking,
so like SGA, Jokic, and
yeah, or even
yeah,
yeah. I mean, and you, it would be two of those guys. We shorten the rosters. I think 15 guys is too much too. By the way,
yeah,
or whatever the
yeah,
case
yeah,
is,
yeah. Go to
we short
12.
we shorten it.
Go
We go
back
to
to 12.
12.
Go back to
We go to
12.
12. The two top guys, they compile a roster of what, four guys each or something like that,
Yeah,
three or
three
four
starters
guys
and a
each,
sub.
three starters and a sub, and we do it like that, and both teams face each other. Also, I think that would get guys more amped up, especially in a half court game, and I think they'll play harder. TJ, I think they'll play harder
So
because
here's the thing.
they
I
they,
think
they won't
that,
they won't let shit. It'd be half court.
and
You
I
know what I'm
also think
saying?
that so like there was a concept a couple years ago with the where they had the timeless fourth quarter and they just had a target score.
Yeah, with the Elam ending.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I didn't mind that because like then you brought out you brought out some of the competitiveness then because but I think what killed that was I think that like immediately after the All-Star break you had like two or three guys get hurt and they just weren't like these were like big names that got hurt. So like I think that the NBA was kind of like, well, we can't do that no more because players gonna get hurt or players aren't not gonna want to do it out of fear of getting hurt. I will bring back the Elam ending, and but I would bring back the Elam ending. I would shrink the roster to 12. And another thing, like, just go back to wearing your team jersey. I think that was such a cool aspect of All Star Weekend, especially for the game. Like, well, just the weekend in general. Like you rocking your team jersey, so that way you became more of a household name. Like these concepts of creating East and West jerseys for like, and they kind of color coordinated with the city that they in and all that other shit. It's like, no, bro, just wear your team jersey. Just wear some variation of your team jersey and go from there. Like
I, it,
just because like I think back to the year of what was it 2010 or something like that when the Celtics had like four All Stars, like Rondo made it, KG made it, Pierce made it, and Ray Allen made it. Mind you, they in LA. What better way to piss people off than to show up at the All Star game with that Celtic green jersey on in the Staples, even
mhm.
if it's just for the All Star game, but instead they had to wear the blue East jersey. It's like, no, go back to team jerseys. Go back to individual team jerseys.
I think ultimately we can talk about all the improvements that we should do or they should do as in the NBA as a whole. But ultimately, what comes down to it is the players and their efforts and their want to give the
That's really
fans a
what
better product.
that's
That's what
really
it
what
comes
it
down
is.
to. You know,
I
it
don't
comes
get like
down to pride. You
because
know,
truth be told, like we can talk like you said, we can talk about all this other shit. If the players don't show effort, if the players don't show that they give a damn, it's null and void. It's real because like the fact that Mac McClung is a G, like Mac McClung has one more three dunk contests than games. Like he's only played in 5 games
and Mac could
total,
play. Mac
and Mac
Mac
can play,
Mac can play. Mac is a hell of an offensive player. His problem is he's undersized at the
and he
point guard
plays,
position, and he
and he
doesn't really. And his defense is, you know,
and he plays on the he plays for a team that's super
value
heavy.
heavy on guards,
That's super heavy
big
on
guards
guards
too. You
and
got
big guards
Jalen
at that.
Suggs, you got Cole Anthony. I mean, you got KCP guys that are 6'3" and up. I mean, he doesn't have any
A
chance.
snowball, but like his saving grace is like you got a guy like Peyton Pritchard who's about the same height as him.
Right. Yeah.
Cooking,
I'm just surprised, man, because Mac been cooking people in the G League this year. He's
and,
been
and,
having
and
30-point games. He's been cooking people. I'm just so surprised he's just this gimmick of a player right
so,
now,
but
you
like
know?
it shouldn't take Mac McClung winning 3 dunk contests in a row for the likes of a John Morant to be like Mac make me want like bro like no you should have been
Ooh.
dunking bro you should have
Ooh,
been
we
dunking.
gonna talk. We gonna talk about that later. We're gonna talk about that later on something, nothing, everything.
Like you should have been.
We'll,
All right, go ahead.
we'll get to that. But anyways, moving on to the Eastern Conference. So we did officially start the. I know there was a makeup game yesterday with the Lakers and the
Lakers and
Hornets.
Hornets, yeah.
But the second half of the season is officially started tonight.
Hmm.
And with that being said, we would like to talk about any teams that are privy to make second half runs in the Eastern Conference,
I
Western
got it.
Conference, any teams that'll drop out. So on the East, TJ, who's privy to make a second half run? I'm gonna go with the top. Here's the top five. Um so Milwaukee has the seventh hardest schedule. So
Yep.
when we talk about strength of schedule left, okay, Milwaukee, New
Hmm.
York,
Hmm.
Cleveland, all
Hmm.
three of those teams that are in the top four, top five in the Eastern
Uh,
Conference standings,
say,
they
say
have
those
the
two.
three hardest.
You said Milwaukee, Cleveland, and who?
Milwaukee's number one, New York, and then it's Cleveland
So all right,
that
so
has
Cleveland.
the.
All right, so right now Cleveland is the 1 seed, New York's the 3 seed, and Milwaukee's the 5 seed.
But
So
here, check this one out. Check this one out.
okay.
Boston,
Hmm.
Boston has the 28th easiest, like 28th hardest schedule in the league. So essentially, they have a cakewalk of a schedule
Cakewalk.
in the second
Okay.
half.
And it's like
Boston,
27 games left for them.
yeah, 27
Um,
games. Yep.
So if I had to pick one, I mean like and truth be told, like I wouldn't say Boston's gonna make a run because Boston's like it's expected of them. Like you've been a top team in the East for the last 5 years now. So yeah, come come on with the come on. The real question in the East is, can Cleveland hold on, or do you expect Cleveland to fall off? Because given their history post LeBron, and even with LeBron, eventually the magic runs out outside of 2016. So like if I had to pick a team to that was gonna make a run, truth be told, uh, I got two, and it's like, and it's more so like they need to, like, emphasis on need, like need is in all caps, capital N, capital two E's, and a capital D
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
exclamation points. Then they need to make a run, and that's Atlanta and that's Orlando.
Mm. Yeah, the seventh and the eighth seed, and both of those teams right now, or Atlanta and Orlando, 23rd and 24th, hardest strength of schedule
Like
moving
you
forward.
can
So they have a
you
pretty easy schedule in the second half.
you cannot let Detroit, who was by this point basically eliminated by Christmas last
Det-
year.
Detroit's about the middle of the pack right now, TJ. And in terms of strength of schedule, I think Detroit is actually going to make a little bit of a run. Bickerstaff, JB got them playing really good
So, but here's, but
basketball.
I also think that, just like it's the same notion with Cleveland, with Detroit, eventually, hey, bro, like the magic is gonna run out. You're gonna lose some games that you probably should have won
Mm.
because y'all ain't been there before. It's that simple. Like it's like, so like Tobias Harris is kind of quote unquote resurging. You wanna know why? Because ain't wasn't no expectations in Detroit.
No.
Like when you played in Philly and y'all was going, and y'all was going to the second round of the playoffs, and them lights got a little bit brighter, and you needed Tobias Harris to step up. He didn't do it because why? Expectations. He goes back to Detroit, where it's like, damn, bro, the year before they won 12 games, and I'm being nice with the 12. They won 12 games. They're not expecting to do much of anything the following season, and now all of a sudden you look up, they the sixth seed. So if the playoffs were to start today, they would be playing New York in the playoffs.
I think Detroit, it obviously all comes down to the health of Cade Cunningham, because you see Cade, he's like the clear cut leader of the team. Malik Beasley gives him a hell of a scoring punch. Can you just imagine if Jaden Ivey was still there? They'd be so much better right now. But just Cade Cunningham alone, in my opinion, he's took his game to a whole different level. He's definitely a three-level scorer. We all know that he could be or was or is, but he's taking it to a different level. He's more patient with the basketball. He knows the situations. He's not just chucking up threes in crazy situations. He knows when to drive. He knows when to go and get contact. He knows when to dish it out. And then obviously, I mean, he does have a nice little sweet stroke as well. But I think Detroit is a team that we all have to. And then another one is Indiana, right? Nobody, for some reason, Indiana kind of gets slept on when it talk when you talk about the upper echelon teams. Look, this team was what in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. You know,
Yeah,
so this team is a team that has some go. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They were one of the hottest
I,
teams
I, I
before the
put
All
the
Star break.
I put them in the same boat as Atlanta was a couple years ago. Like you went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the next season there's a little bit more expectation of you, and you're coming up short. But you're coming up short, and it's truth be told, like it's the same thing. It's like you only really got there because your opposition along the way literally fell apart before your eyes. So like with Atlanta, when they go to the Eastern Conference Finals, Ben Simmons has a meltdown, Joel Embiid struggles, and Tobias Harris also struggles. When the Indiana goes to the Eastern Conference Finals, New York literally fell apart.
It was Tom Thibodeau.
Like New
Tibbs
like New
Tibbs
York
ran his guys into the
New
ground.
York literally, like, physically fell apart. I think Mitchell Robinson was hurt. Hardenstein was hurt. Hart was playing 48 minutes, no all gas, no breaks.
Them boys
Brunt,
was tired.
Brunson was hurt. OG was hurt. Them boys tired. Them boys was exhausted. They was probably so tired. They probably went in the locker room, take a shower, and fell asleep in the shower. That's probably how tired they was, bro. And then so with Indiana, like yeah, y'all the 4 seed. Like it's kind of like yeah, keep sleeping on us. Keep talking about Cleveland. Keep talking about Boston. Keep talking about New York. We just go mosey on along. But at the end of the day, I still don't think they. I don't think they have enough because I'm kind of disappointed in like the Miles like in Miles Turner and because Miles Turner like when it comes to the best big in the game, Miles Turner's name is not even brought up in the conversation. It's basically a 2 man conversation, which has turned into a 1 man conversation.
Yeah, because Joel Embiid don't even play anymore. I mean, I mean, look at Philly. I mean, when we look at this season, golly, man. I mean, this is just a
Like
big shit show of a disappointment of a season for Philly. I mean, we went out and got Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. He had the great season the year before.
and he's carried
He's carried the team.
and that's carried over. Like he won
Yeah.
most improved, and he's showing why he's won most improved.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
it's bro, like, it's like so like, but Washington, not Washington, and Orlando and who did Atlanta. They need to make the run because it's like y'all got two. Y'all have had crazy talented teams, especially in Orlando's case. Like y'all have done this thing like semi right. Like y'all built through the draft. Now, don't get me wrong. Like part of like you can't just build a team through the draft. Like you got to get some free agents to come in that way to speed up the process a little bit. But in markets like Orlando and OKC, you more than like it's that's why it's even more critical for you to hit on your draft picks because even if you have the money to lure free agents, they not like hey like you are very low on the on the top tier free agency totem pole. You get like
mm-hmm.
so Orlando when you stockpile the draft talent that you have had and you hit on that draft talent, you got to kind of like reap the benefits of that. Like it's time. It's about like it's time. Like y'all can't keep being the darling play-in team, make it in the play-in playoffs that way 7 seed, 8 seed, and then y'all might get a game or two off the top teams or push them to 7 if you're lucky. And then y'all gonna get bowed up and be like, "Hey, great season for this young team." Like, no, it's time. Y'all got too much talent to be a one and done in the playoffs. It's time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when it comes to the East, man, I mean, it's really when you look at the top three, top 4 or 5 teams. I mean, it's pretty much wide open in my opinion when it comes to the top 4 teams, top 5 teams, really, because you really don't know who. I know that Cleveland had got off to that great start, but they've really cooled down a little bit. Towards the All Star break, we know Boston. We talked about how their strength of schedule isn't as it's the 28th strength
28th
of schedule,
easiest.
yeah, ranked. So they're gonna go on a run in the second half, definitely. But you talk about New York, Indiana, Milwaukee. I mean, it really is gonna come down to those 5 teams, and I think the first 2 rounds, or the semis, and the finals, Eastern Conference Finals, is gonna be very interesting. I think the East is wide open, just like the West. The NBA is really wide open so far this season, in my opinion. There's no clear cut like last year. We all knew Boston was just a force to
Hey,
be reckoned
hey,
with. Like nobody was stopping them.
it was just different.
They was different, but this year it's not the same. This year is not the same. Boston isn't shooting the ball at the high clip that they used to, and their defense is falling off a little bit as well. So, and then on the West side, TJ,
Yeah,
who do you expect to go on a run? LA right now currently has the toughest strength of schedule in all of the NBA
Lakers,
at
Clippers,
number 1. Yeah.
Lakers or Clippers. You just said L.A.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, Lakers. Lakers. My bad, bro. My bad. Well, see here, the top, and I'm just gonna kind of go through it. Like, I think the top 6 hardest strength of schedules are Western Conference teams, and I think since
Mm,
that's because they play each other,
each
right?
other.
So you got the Lakers at one here. It's all in the same. It's all in the same order, 1 through 6.
Okay.
Lakers, Phoenix,
Okay.
Sacramento has the
Mm,
third toughest schedule in the NBA.
that's tough.
Denver, Memphis, Clippers round out top six,
That's
and then
tough.
you got Utah and New Orleans. Round out the top 10,
They
whatever.
tank.
Oklahoma City's middle of the pack right now
They
at 14,
tanking for
and
Cooper
then
Flag.
ooh,
Um.
those three teams, those two teams, yes, Utah, New
Uh.
Orleans, yes.
Um. And if I'm Cooper Flag, I'm like, hey, you know what? I might go back to Duke one for one more.
I'm
Uh,
gonna I'm gonna go I'm gonna go quick right here before you go.
Go
I
ahead.
think I think Minnesota is going to go on a little bit of a run in the second half. They have the 26th hardest strength of schedule, which is low on the totem pole. So they got an easy strength of schedule right now. They're in the 7th seed right
Hmm.
now. And there's only a few, I would say 2 or 3 games that's separating Minnesota, LA, both the LA teams, and Houston right now because Houston's 34-21, Minnesota's
They
31-25.
and Houston's falling off going into the All Star break. Like that's and so the team that needs to make a second half run is Phoenix because like
Mhm.
there's a high possibility that this is not your team going into next
Mhm.
season simply for the simple fact that you can't afford it. So
This is who Phoenix plays, TJ. Sorry to cut you off. This is
you
who
good?
Phoenix plays in the second half. OKC once, Cleveland once, Boston twice, New
Damn,
York once,
damn.
Memphis twice, Denver once. That's the toughest opponents in the second half.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's
That's uh,
ugly. That's a gauntlet right there.
that's yeah, that's
Getting
that
Boston twice? Who's That's unfair.
that's ugly. And so like yeah, like for the simple fact that like it KD could easily be traded in the off season, and it's not the fact that they want to trade Kevin Durant. It's the or Kevin Durant wants a trade. It's the fact that hey, like I'm not well rosters get expensive, and you ain't finna like these owners and GMs. It's like hey, I'm not going to keep paying luxury tax money and I'm not getting a luxury. I'm not hoisting the Larry O'Brien at the end of the season. I'm not winning. So if you're the Boston Celtics, you're fine with paying 650 million between two players because you're going to the final. You've been to the finals 3 times in the last 7 years or some shit like no twice in the last four, and the Eastern Conference Finals you've been there like 5 or 6 times. So if you but and same thing with the Clippers, like you chose Kawhi over Paul George. You chose Kawhi over Paul George. Y'all, hey, we already know the temperament of um what the hell is his name? Steve Ballmer. Them the new owners and like Phoenix and Clippers, they got new ownership. New ownership is greedy.
I
They
think
won't.
they did. I think they did good by picking Kawhi over Paul George. By the way,
I mean, like hindsight is 2020. Did we see Paul George falling off like this in Philly? Absolutely not. But hey, new ownership is greedy. New ownership wants that ROI, return on investment, damn near immediately. And and so like the Clippers and the Suns, them having top five hardest strength of schedules left, it's like that sucks because it's like y'all need to make a push, and one of y'all ain't gonna make a push. Like it's what it is.
man. I mean, the Lakers got to play the Nuggets 3 times down the
Three
stretch.
times, bro.
That's rough. That's rough. And I mean, look, the Clippers got to play Cleveland twice. They got to play New York twice down the stretch. I think they can split those with those two teams, though.
And if
In my
I'm
opinion,
and if I'm the Lakers, if I'm the last team I want to see
3 times,
3 times, it's
and
Denver.
they got to see OKC twice too.
and and you got to see OKC. So and because especially on the Lakers tip, they have no one. They have no one who can guard that man. So you might as well just pencil in Jokic for a free 25,
30
yeah,
triple double.
25, 30, 14, and 12. And with Jamal Murray
Watching the
playing,
Lakers play has been interesting though. Like Luca and LeBron certainly do fit together, but Austin Reeves kind of has turned into Mario Chalmers. If you know what I'm saying, bro, like Mario Chalmers, we all know how talented Mario Chalmers was and how he could have been. You know, we saw him at Kansas. He was the number one player in the nation
yeah,
in his class.
yeah.
And you know, he goes, you go play with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James.
You gonna
And
take
bro,
you gonna take some seats. You gonna take some
you're gonna take
seats.
several seats. And Austin Reeves is, 19 points a game. I think the other night he only shot six
The other
shots.
night he got ejected. He got ejected.
Oh, did he
So
get out? Yeah, okay. I can't. Okay, but I mean, at the same time, he's averaging 19 and a half a game. I mean, I think Austin Reeves is gonna take definitely obviously a backseat
but
to Luca,
but at the
but
same
it's
at the
it's
same
just he
time,
doesn't have the ball in his hands anymore now that when you look at the Lakers now, it's like LeBron and Luca have the
mhm.
ball in their hands, and Austin doesn't have it as much in his hands anymore. You know what I mean?
And at the same time, if you're Austin Reeves, you have to understand with the addition, like well, with the subtraction of Anthony Davis and now the addition of Luca. Like I understand Luca is Luca, but you are now just that much more important to your team because the
Mm.
fall off after you and make like and it's like you
Is
and
Gabe
Rui
Vincent?
you and Rui gonna take turns being the third best player on a nightly basis. So it's not like it's y'all being introduced to a quote unquote new role. It's something that y'all been doing anyway since AD was on the team.
I think it's
So
a little different though, because with Luca handling the ball so much, Austin's got to play off the ball, and he's got to let Luca create shots for him now, which I could say you can say it will provide more scoring for Austin Reeves, especially he'll have more open shots on the perimeter at three. He'll have more man to man. He'll have more guys running out to him on the 3 point line where he's pretty good at getting to the cup. But I mean, it's different when AD was, kind of getting the ball in the post. You can set it up for him. You had the ball in your hands. Now you got to kind of work off the ball a little bit more with Luca and LeBron kind of taking turns handling the basketball. But I've seen LeBron kind of let Austin get some of his, you know, turns on that ball and he play off ball a little bit. So, I definitely seen that. But I mean, teams that drop off from both conferences.
teams that drop off, I think Milwaukee drop off. Like I understand, like you still got Giannis, you still got Dame, but the role that Bobby Portis played on this team was crucial. And you don't have Bobby Portis for the next 25 games. He's suspended. Bobby Portis is suspended for the next 25 games.
We gonna get to that too. So we gonna get to that. And so yeah, no, and no, I agree with you. I think Milwaukee. We'll talk about that in the next subject. Something, nothing, everything.
And
And
Detroit,
then
I think Detroit. For again, I'm happy that Detroit is having the season that they're having. Like, bro, I saw a nugget about them prior to the All Star break. This is their
mm,
first time being over 500 at the All Star break since like 2009,
mm,
and it's like really think about that. Like you're over 500 going into the All Star break for the first time since 2009.
yeah, I think teams that are gonna like completely drop out the playoffs. I got I got Dallas
Oh
falling
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I got Dallas fine. I don't know what the Anthony Davis situation look like. They say he'll be back in a couple weeks, couple months. I don't know what's going on there. But you make that trade for Luca, he's playing. AD's not. You lost the trade. We all knew you lost the trade, but you big lost the trade this year because that AD trade is
You muted. You're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, am I back? I'm back. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
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 my yeah. I think Dallas. I think my mic fell off. Anyways,
yeah.
I think Dallas falls out the. I don't know what's going on with the. Like I said, with the Anthony Davis situation. What I was saying, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. But you lost the trade, obviously, and we don't we you lost the trade. The reason why you went and got Anthony Davis was for this year and next year to be like a defensive juggernaut or to add to the defense, and you lost it. Luca's playing, he's not. So you lost it this year, you lost it in the future. You're just an all around loser. Whoever the GM, Nico, whatever his name
Nico,
is,
Nico Harrison. I think
Nico Harrison, you're a big loser. You won't have a job. You'll be working at H&R Block in a couple
man,
years, buddy.
he gonna have a job. They gonna he gonna have.
Where he gonna work at when it blows up in his face?
I have no idea,
When
but
because this is about to blow up in his face,
but
and
it's like see like it's moves like this that makes people dig deep into your past. So it's like when you find out that he was the reason Steph Curry went with Under Armour instead of Nike, it's like, bruh. But at the same time, it's like, hey, like that's a blessing in disguise because Under Armour needed Steph Curry the way Steph Curry needed Under Armour because Steph Curry could have been like, hey, I could have easily been another Nike athlete, but why not go like why would I go be another fish in a pond where I can go when I can have a whole ocean to myself?
yeah,
And he goes
absolutely.
and he basically builds Under Armour as a basketball brand, right? So it's like that, but at the same time, it's your decision making has to be looked at because whatever your position was at Nike, it's like you had the guy right in your building and you let him out without a deal, and then like I said, he goes on to be with Under Armour, so on and so forth. Western Conference tend to drop off. Oh, so yeah, I agree with you on Dallas. I just for the simple fact that again they just too beat the hell. I
Neither
think,
Dallas or Sacramento, in my opinion. Neither Dallas or Sacramento.
bro. Truth be told, I can see Dallas, Sacramento, and Golden State falling off. Like this notion that Golden State, like Draymond Green running his mouth, talking about some nobody in the Western Conference scares me, bro. You're the 10 seed. You have to win 2 games before you even get into the playoffs. And even then, I don't. Who out of the top six, if the top six was to remain who it is right now, who are you beating?
You're not beating OKC.
Yeah, I don't trust you. I don't
I
have
don't
faith in you to
care.
beat
Jimmy
them.
Butler is there.
I you're not beating Denver. Like I don't see you beating the Lakers. All things considered, I don't see you beating the Clippers. I like what
I just feel like this with the Western Conference. We already know Portland, Utah, New Orleans. They in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
and now
San
and
Antonio about to be in a Cooper Flag sweepstakes too. Losing Victor Wembanyama, they getting De'Aaron Fox in that trade. They was definitely trying to go for a playoff push. Now that's kind of been pushed a year behind now. So Phoenix is the only team that's going to jump in my opinion. And one of those two teams is going to fall out. I think Minnesota, with how easy their schedule is down the stretch, Golden State with their easy schedule. Really, all the playing teams here that we're looking at in the West, they
mhm.
all have easy schedules in the second half. It's the top six guys that have the hard schedules that could be falling in and out. But and when it's all said and done, Sacramento, when they first fired Mike Brown and Doug Christie was a coach, they played amazing basketball. Ever since
Mhm.
then, 500 basketball.
But
So
when it's also at the same time, like when you said like the top 6 seeds have the hardest schedule remaining, and truth be told, that's kind of what we want. Like we don't want OKC, who the number 1 seed, to have a cakewalk through. the rest of the season and into the playoffs, because then it shows that when you get to the playoffs and shit get shit get nitty and gritty, you can't hang. So like no, give me the hard, give me the top teams with the hardest schedule, because that, I truth be told, like that's how it should be. Like the fact that Boston is number two in the East, and they have like the 26th strength of schedule. So like they got a cakewalk down the stretch. Should literally piss the people off, because it's like who's challenging them down the stretch to the point where, like, where's the mystery? Oh, ain't none. Like so, like truth be told, like that, like the only games that they really got to be concerned about is when they play Cleveland, if they play them again, and when they play the Knicks or the Pacers. And they've like, I think Cleveland's one of those teams where it's just like no matter how good we are, we just can't beat Boston.
Mm. Yeah, and Sacramento being in the play-in lead, having a third toughest schedule in the NBA ain't helping them either. Phoenix too, being outside and looking in, having the second hardest schedule ain't helping them either, as well. So we'll see. And then in terms of the East, I don't really have a team that's going to drop out in the East. I think the East is pretty solid. I don't see the Bulls dropping out. I don't see the Heat dropping out. I don't
But
see
you're
Brooklyn or
saving
Philly
you're
catching up.
saving you're saving grace with the Bulls, and they lost the tough one to the Knicks tonight by two.
Yeah,
You're saving grace
overtime.
tonight. Yeah, you're saving grace tonight is Philly sucks, Brooklyn sucks,
Right.
Toronto, Charlotte, and Washington are too far behind to even have a.
And you're lucky Philly sucks
And you're so lucky Philly sucks.
because Philly isn't supposed to suck and they're supposed to be pretty good and they're not good. And so yeah, you're super lucky that you're in the spot that you're in, but it really doesn't matter because they're gonna be one and done no matter what.
You know what?
No matter what, in my opinion. Anyways, moving along to something, nothing, ever. And if you guys have any comments of who you think is going to make a second half run, please let us know in the comment section. And then on to something, nothing, everything. This is another staple here at the crossover. Here, as we end the show, we bring up a topic. And I ask TJ if it's something, nothing, or everything, and we kind of decide where to go from there. Wemby is the first topic of hand. Wemby has been shut down for the rest of the season due to a blood clot in his right shoulder. I
Yeah,
believe the Spurs said it is an isolated situation, meaning that it's nothing to be worried about for like his future or whatever the case is. They're saying that it's just kind of like a
it's
freak of
like
nature kind of thing, and they got to just
it's like
take
don't
precaution and shut him
yeah,
down.
it's like don't worry about
Nothing,
it,
nothing,
but
everything.
it's like don't worry about it, but worry about it, because this is everything.
This
Wemby
is everything.
Wemby. So the conversation of not just like the face of the NBA, face of the league, is a ongoing topic, because in in the near future, LeBron, KD, Steph, they're done. They're done. Like the NBA can ride their coattails, and they have been for as long as they can.
Hmm.
But eventually, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. Like, damn, who's gonna be that face? Who's gonna be the face of the league? And there's this notion of, for whatever reason, a lot of people feel like that a international player can't be the face of the league, and it's not the international person's fault. It's the history of the NBA. Like, it's no matter how good the international dudes were, like that one American player was just that much more better, that much more marketable. So in the league that gave us Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, you follow that up with Magic and Larry to Michael Jordan. And you can argue at 62 years old, Michael Jordan is still the face of the league, because you got people wanting him to be the fucking logo. Wimby can throw his name into that face of the league conversation. It's going to be harder for him because he's quote unquote an international star, but he's everything when it comes to what San Antonio is trying to do. He's everything in the NBA in terms of we've seen this situation before. Now we know how to handle it a lot better. Like a la Chris Bosh. Like Chris Bosh's career was ended prematurely because of blood clots. So Chris Bosh couldn't play. Like it just it wasn't the risk just wasn't worth it for Chris Bosh, and we saw how that played out. So the condition is called deep vein thrombosis,
Yeah,
and it's a concerning issue because blood clots, if not managed the right way, blood clots can race to your heart, and that's catastrophic. That's that's almost like instant death. Like there's no catching that. Like it's if that happens, it's good night Irene. And I'm willing to bet it's beyond frustrating because Wemby goes from winning what he would like winning games in France and international play to coming over here in his first year in the league wasn't a good one. And then this year they finally get him some help in De'Aaron Fox, and we're thinking, they right there, and it's like another it's another hang up. So for this is everything in terms of for the Spurs and for the league. This is everything.
well, now they kind of throw their name back in that Cooper Flag sweepstakes. They didn't think they would be throwing their name in there, but
I
they
think,
they
hey
could
man,
end up. They could very well end up with a top four pick or a top five pick, and we all know the top five picks in this upcoming NBA draft are going to be
they
really
they
good
they
players.
pretty. If I'm them, as much as a Cooper
I
Flag
shut down De'Aaron Fox at some point
as
too.
and that's another part that irks me because as a player, like why is you shutting me down for what for better draft pick? No, bro. Like, hey, I'm in this motherfucker to win, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to win. Like that's just
Well,
me
we
though.
know Chris Paul is. We know Chris Paul is. I don't think I haven't. I can't remember the last time Chris Paul, you know, missed the
Missed the
missed the
playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah, I mean,
'Cause,
when was the last time he missed the playoffs?
was wait, did he play in Washington with the Westbrook trade? Because he got traded to Washington.
Nah, he didn't play in Washington. He was what last year? What was Chris Paul at?
Phoenix was he? No, was he?
Yeah,
No, he wasn't still in
no,
Phoenix.
he wasn't in Phoenix still. Nah, Chris Paul was
Chris Paul was in.
Golden State.
Yeah,
He was in Golden State, and they made the playoffs. The year before that,
with so
and
so
he was with that
2000,
young he was with that young he was with that young
OKC team.
OKC team. You know what I mean? That made the play. So it's like he's got a lot of pride. So they're gonna he's gonna play as hard as he can to make them playoffs. But at some point in time, Chris Paul, he already up there. He only got maybe 1 or 2 more years. He's gonna want to play for maybe a championship contending team, one of these top three teams, coming in. So, but we'll see. But anyways, I think this is everything as well. Like you said, everything,
Mhm.
all points valid. What you said, bro, because Victor Wembanyama, we don't know who's gonna take that torch. It's who's
And
gonna be the face of the league. We still
and
got
then
that.
and then my next question for that is like, is this condition like a one and done? Like is like once you get rid of
We
it,
don't know yet.
is it like yeah? So like that's my thing. Like is it a
We don't
one
know
and done,
yet.
or is it like is the
Well,
threat of it? Can this happen again? Can this come back? So like that has to creep in the back of your mind, and it's just like it's
my
it's
thing
it's a scary situation.
with big guys, my thing is with like the big guys. Usually, we look at the big guys and like, oh, they have like, tendon issues or they have like bone structure issues. Like this blood clot issue is very serious, and we all thought like Wemby was pretty, had a clean bill of health for the most part.
Yeah, this news caught me off
Despite
completely off guard.
despite little nagging injuries, maybe they shit him down one game, but he's always playing. And so for as thin as he is, we all thought it would be something else. We didn't think it'd be blood clots.
Blood
And so
clots.
and so it's kind of crazy how it's like you got a great once in a generational type of talent in Victor Wembanyama, and now he's got a serious kind of condition, especially this year. It's still fluid on whether or not how this condition is going to play out. But anyways, next topic we got LeBron James, and let me tell you, I'm pretty sure you know the direction I'm going with LeBron James here. All Star Weekend,
All
particularly
Star
on the All
Weekend.
Star Game. Do we have a problem? Something, nothing, everything with LeBron James not playing in the All Star Game, calling it out, saying that he's going to sit out the day of the
Day
All Star
of.
Game, despite giving that All Star nod to someone else, such as like a Norman Powell, who
It's a.
probably deserved that.
Uh,
Something, nothing, everything.
I don't know how to. I wouldn't classify it as neither one. I would classify it as a dick move. That's
I really do. I really
so
do
so
think
because like here's the thing that irks me about it, right? So like
it's something.
so like yeah, so like Giannis also announces that he's not gonna play, but he does so like with like 2 3 days in advance so that Adam Silver can find the replacement, which is how Trey Young got
Right.
got the nod.
Exactly.
But even in that instance, Giannis still goes. He wears the uniform. He does the photo ops, and that's it. LeBron shows up. He don't wear the uniform. He don't. He does the photo ops in his street clothes, so he stands out. He sticks out, and it's just. I understand people are like, "Oh, it's LeBron. He can do it." Like, no, that
Oh,
just something about that it shouldn't sit right with anyone. It shouldn't sit right with anyone because for you to deny someone else this opportunity, it's a dick move because like you and Anthony Edwards, like everybody's like, well, what about Anthony? Anthony Edwards tried. He at least tried to give it a go. Like Anthony Edwards, like, hey man, I'm too sick to do this shit. Like, no. So Anthony Edwards, like, it's completely because Anthony Edwards was sick. Anthony
mm-hmm.
Edwards showed up and he tried to. We all tried to do something sick, and it gets to the point where it's like, hey, yeah, this ain't gonna work. That was Anthony Edwards. LeBron just said like the morning of, oh, I can't play, and by that point the NBA is in a bind because it's like we ain't finna get nobody to fly out to San Francisco and be like, hey, LeBron can't play. Can you suit up in 6 hours?
Right.
Like it's something like I guarantee you like going forward it's gonna be a mandate or something like that. Like, hey, if you gotta opt out, please let me know like a week in advance versus
The day of,
the
or we
day
gonna
of,
fine your ass.
which
We
which
gonna
is
give you a nice
insane
fine,
because it's
$100,000 fine.
like, bruh, like what are we what are we doing?
Right, exactly. Next topic: John Morant got on his Twitter after Mac McGlung won his third dunk contest in a row and said he might have to put his name in a hat next year. And then you got Aaron Gordon coming
Not
in.
Zach Levine.
Uh, was it Zach? I thought it was AG that
No, it was so like
AG said something on Twitter
no
saying that
it
he still got something in the bag of tricks or
so
something.
it was so Ja Morant tweets out, then Giannis did the classic, hey, if you do it, I do it. Then I think Ja Morant added Zach Levine like with the question mark, like Ja like AG Zach question mark, and
Yeah,
then
he did that.
Zach Levine responded with, "Hey, I might have to. I might have to."
I might have to. I think AG
I ain't
responded.
I ain't see a response from Aaron
I
Gordon. So
think
if he
AG
said
Aaron Gordon said he still got some bags left some
some
tricks left in the bag. So anyways, is this something nothing everything with John Morant,
in
Zach
terms,
Levine, AG, and if it did happen next
cool
season,
man.
how great of a slam dunk contest would that be?
All right, so in terms of the event that we're talking about, the slam dunk contest, it's everything because it's what we've been asking for as a fan. It's what the league has been asking for from a business standpoint. Um, you you and you want the big names to do this. And once again, this comes back on the eyes of LeBron James because you can't say one year I'm putting my name into the dunk contest for next year's dunk contest, and then next year rolls around and it's like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that shit. Um,
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
so it's
exactly.
like, so it's like, bro. So like again, you set the standard. So when the bigger names see that the face of the league ain't doing the dunk contest, guess what? The other bigger names ain't gonna do. They not gonna do it. So it so it's needed. Like it shouldn't have taken Mac McClung, a G leaguer, winning three in a row, for the best sleepers in the game to be like, all right, I'm finna do a dunk contest. Like Zach, like it shouldn't have got to this point. I
I
mean,
think I think it's everything. If it does happen
if it
for the
does
dunk
happen,
contest, I mean, golly, we're talking about
like bro,
probably
like
one of the
imagine
best dunk contests ever. But I think this noise is nothing. We've seen
because
this
I can
before.
think about it though, because like when in 2016 when AG and Zach Levine put that show on for us, they weren't they weren't what they are now, bro. Like they were still trying to figure themselves out in the league. They weren't household names. They weren't viewed. They weren't even viewed as stars. It's just like Giannis was still trying to find. Giannis was just now coming into his own. Um, Andre Drummond was coming like he established himself as like one of the premier rebounders of in the game, but that's pretty much it. And it used to be back in the day. It's like, hey, you know what you getting when it was Jordan, Dominique, Spud Webb, and Drexler in the dunk contest. Fast forward to Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis, and so on and so forth. Jason Richardson winning his back to back in I think it was at 2002, 2000, and 2003, and so on. And then you go to 2005, it hits a bit of a lull. Then Nate Robinson come in and he win his, and then Dwight Howard in 2008 with the Superman dunk kind of changed the game because it's like, hey, we've seen big dudes, we ain't never seen big dudes jump like that. And then Nate and Dwight Howard had a little back and forth in the dunk contest where it's like he won one, then Nate won one, and then Nate won again. And then all of a sudden it's a lull. It's just a dead event. And then 2016 happens, and it's like, okay, now we back. And now we get to this point. But to your point about this being nothing, it's heavy on the A. I believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
Hey, hey,
exactly.
it's I believe it when I see it. So they already asking Mac McClung, like, hey, you coming back for next year? Hey, if I'm Mac McClung, bro, I'm not doing this shit unless I'm on somebody's official NBA roster. Don't call me up. Don't call me up just so I can do this event and then send me back down to the G League.
Yeah,
Don't.
no, I agree. I totally agree. Totally agree. Next topic and the last topic on something, nothing, everything before we wrap up tonight is Bobby Portis getting suspended. TJ brought this up earlier. Getting suspended for 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. They just announced this today. He took a banned substance called tramadol, which is a medication that is used to treat severe pain among adults. So is this something, nothing, everything for the Milwaukee Bucks losing your key
It's
cog off the bench?
well for the Bucks again. It's everything because I obviously it's not to the notion of like you losing Giannis or you losing Dame or you losing a Brook Lopez, but like you said, like this is your sixth man. He might as well be a goddamn starter for them. Um, and it's everything in the terms of you have to ask why was this particular I don't think people ask this question enough. They just see a substance is banned and they say, okay, it's banned, therefore, and they don't ask why. So why is tramadol banned? It ain't like you can go to. First of all, I never heard of the painkiller till now. I don't think you can go into like a CVS or a Walgreens and be like, "Hey, bro, I need some tramadol."
No.
Like like it ain't like Sudafed where you can just go buy you some Sudafed, and even then you still you only and even then you gotta be careful with that. So I think people got to start asking why certain drugs are on the list. Because I saw a tweet right, and I have it right here from an ER doctor, and he said like this is his name is Judson Merritt. He goes, ER doc here, this is insane. Tramadol is the weakest painkiller we can prescribe. I often don't bother because the effects are so mild. If it's banned, but just shows how haphazard the NBA policies are. Bridges got 30 games for breaking a woman's face.
Right.
And so and he what he should have did, he should have specified which Bridges, because that's Miles Bridges, right? Like Mikal Bridges probably got a bunch of hate tweets like, bro, like Mikal Bridges like, bro, I ain't did shit.
Mikael Bridges don't even miss a game.
Mikal Bridges probably got a bunch of tweets towards him like, you like a bunch of hate tweets, and Mikal Bridges probably like, bro, I ain't did nothing. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Right.
Um, so like if especially like when with shit like this, like this is an ER doctor who says this is like the weakest painkiller that a hospital could administer, and this ER doctor is like, I don't even bother giving my patients this because it does next to nothing for them. So NBA, we got to ask again, why is this particular why is this particular painkiller banned?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the Bucks, it's everything because you don't have your six man for 25 games, and reminder, a lot of teams have less than 30 games left.
Right.
So if you're the Bucks, you're looking at potentially not having your six man for the rest of the season. That sucks.
That is definitely a that is definitely a hit on your roster, and especially you have a tough schedule coming down the stretch. I think what did we say? They're the seventh hardest schedule down the stretch. So losing Bobby Portis for 25 games. I mean, you're talking about some guys got to step up, man. You know, Andre, what's his name? Davis has to step up. You know, can't even remember. I don't even know who's the other big guy off their bench outside of
Um,
Bobby Portis.
what's
Um,
white boy name? The sniper. AJ. Was it Green?
Hey, but he's not a big guy though. So you're
He
really
ain't, but
resting.
he ain't, but he got to play. He gonna have to play bigger than
He's
what
gonna
he
have
is.
to. He's gonna have to shoot. He's gonna have to, make a lot of threes. I think it's AJ Green. Might be AJ Green. But look, in terms of big man depth, I mean, you got Brick Lopez, Giannis. I mean, those two guys are gonna have to, shoulder the load of, dealing, going against, the fours and the fives in the league, which I, have. But that means that Brick Lopez is gonna have to play a lot of minutes, in my opinion.
Giannis,
And he's old. He's getting
Giannis,
up there in age.
Giannis gonna have to play
The
a lot.
five, which
So like, if I think they play it tonight. They played the Clippers tonight. They gotta win. They gotta win. And so Giannis only played 24 minutes, but it's like you got so I think you were play so like Kuzma played 37 minutes tonight.
I forgot about Kuzma. Kuzma is on that team now with that
But like,
trade.
but to your point, outside of Bobby Portis, I don't see another big on the team. Like
No, there is no other big.
Tyler Smith is who is this dude? Tyler Smith is 20 years old. He's 6'9". He ain't gonna play.
I
Pat
mean,
Con
you might be talking about Ryan Hollins, maybe. He's a guard. I can't. I mean, no, there's no big man on the
Ryan,
team. Ryan Hollins is
Ryan
a guard.
Roberts.
Yeah, there's no big guy on the
Oh,
team. You're right.
and they got Jericho Sims from the Nets who played in 17 minutes, didn't take a shot, grabbed 2 rebounds, and got a foul.
Forgot about him. Jericho Sims is the so he's gonna have to play some minutes for them. Jericho Sims is gonna have to be their big guy off the bench to spell Brook Lopez. I think it's everything for the Bucks because you're looking to position yourself, to have home court advantage at some point. And I don't think they're gonna supersede Cleveland. Obviously, 14 game. 14 wins they're gonna have to come by, but I mean, at least to get a some advantage, a home court advantage, maybe in the first round. That's something that you probably want if you're Milwaukee. So I mean, you gotta continue to win and continue to build on that success and play without Bobby Portis, man. It's tough, especially when you got that a tough schedule down the stretch. So anyways, man, that's been a wrap for the show. Hope you guys like the show. Please like, share, and subscribe here at the podcast here at Prime Sports World. In case you missed us, you can catch us on the Huddle Sports Network as well. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch as well. And in case you missed us, you can catch us on all streaming platforms where podcasts can be heard. I am your host today, Israel Rivera, and there goes TJ Hopkins here. And in case I don't see everybody, you guys have a great rest of your week and good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I will see you again, my friend.
All right, take it easy, man.
Take it easy. Peace out, guys.